Omar's got a vision for our county as our next judge of County Court at Law number 8. He's got something very unique. He's got a very deep passion and commitment to education. He wants to see education play a role when he becomes judge. And to help share that vision and explain what that means, McAllen ISD trustee Erica de la Garza Lopez.
Good evening, buenas noches. My name is Erica de la Garza, and I am a school board member in the city of McAllen. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down with Omar and discuss his vision and the opportunities that we could share once he took the seat in County Court number 8. My focus, for those of you that know me, is education. Like Omar, I am a first generation Aggie. Our parents did not go to college, but we both knew early on that we did not have another choice. We went to college, we graduated both from Texas A&M, and we returned to the Valley to continue that fight. Right now, the transformation that's happening in our community with the formation of a new medical school is something that many people will not see again in their lifetime. With the university forming this new medical school, and with other private organizations like Doctors Hospital, which are now bringing clinical trials to our area, means more jobs, more big companies, and that requires skilled workers. One of the biggest concerns our companies face is not having qualified employees and workers that are from our area. And so I asked Omar, in his experience, what does he see from a lot of these first-time offenders? And the one thing a lot of them have in common is that they were high school dropouts. And so we started to talk and discuss, and he explained to me his vision about how his court would be able to help through education. If a lot of those first-time offenders came to him and he, working with the school districts, would assign them to a dropout recovery program to get these kids back in school, get their education, and from there maybe an associate's degree in whatever field that they like, we can produce that workforce for our community. This isn't about McAllen, this isn't about Edinburgh, Mission. It's not even really about just Hidalgo County. This is about the future of our area and the future of the Rio Grande Valley. And if we don't step up and vote for someone like Omar Maldonado, then we have a serious issue at our hands, because we need to make sure that our community continues to move forward and that our children and their children have every opportunity to be whatever that they want to be, whether it be medical school, law school. I mean, we don't know what it'll be. But we need to make sure that our community in the Rio Grande Valley can continue to advance. So I ask all of you to not only go out and vote for Omar, but to make sure that you spread the word. Take 5, 10 friends to the polls. That's the hardest part, is to get people to go and vote. So I thank you all for being here, and I thank you for showing the commitment to Omar and to our community. And now I hope that we can continue to move forward, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. And Erica, congratulations to you, your board, and the district for all the accomplishments that you have done throughout the last 2 or 3 years. Good job over there. Okay, now, becoming a judge has a lot to do with character, values, family, all embedded within one's soul, one's heart, caring for people. And to talk a little bit about Omar's background, where he grew up from, a little bit about his family, his cousin, Gilbert Maldonado, CEO of Texas Valley Communities Foundation, is going to come enlighten us a little bit about Omar's past.
Well, good evening. Buenas noches. Tonight really took many years of planning. It didn't just happen. We are a family that is of service, and it belongs because of one person. My grandmother, Valeria Salinas Maldonado, escaped Mexico because of a very trying time. She escaped because of war. And earlier we were discussing what war does to a family. And she came with her three sisters, one brother. And she often talks about that night that they migrated over. And she ended up in Rio Grande City. Y me dice, mijito, ya mero me ahogaba. Gracias a Dios porque no me ahogué, que porque no estuvieras tú aquí. And I had the pleasure, as many of us did, that when my grandmother had a very special place in our heart. And my grandmother would talk about the suffering. She would talk about how much she wanted to go to school. But she couldn't. She had to work in the fields. And then eventually she met the love of her life, Enrique Maldonado. One day in the field, she says, es como que apareció, mijito. That's the way it was told to me. And from that vision came 8 boys and 1 girl. And my family would migrate every year. All of them would get on a truck, several trucks by then, and they would migrate to Michigan until one tragic year came where we lost my aunt. My tia Celia unfortunately drowned, and she's no longer with us. But that one event changed our family. That is when my grandfather turned to all 8 of his boys and he said, we are no longer going to work the fields. We are now going to start working with our minds. But it took the death of one of our family members for us to finally get it, that education is the equalizer. And many times, you see the statistics. Out of every 10 freshmen entering our schools right now, only 1 finishes college. And this is data that's available out there. And the school districts, they're doing their job. And by the way, I'd like to commend the Edinburgh School District for recently being honored State School Board of the Year. Let's give them a big round of applause. Talk about service. That is service there. But getting back to my grandmother Valeria, she unfortunately had to bury her husband soon after that. And there was 8 boys. And the youngest was Theo Henry. And Theo Henry unfortunately lost his dad at a very young age. But Theo Henry listened to his mother. And he said, education is the equalizer. And I'll never forget, I was 5 years old, one night about 1 o'clock in the morning, I heard a typewriter going off. And he was typing as fast, with 2 fingers, mind you. He was typing, it was my Uncle Henry typing there on the kitchen table. And then all of a sudden he looked up and I go, Theo, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm trying to finish this paper so I can get to work, because I have to drive the bus in the morning to go pick up the school kids, and I have to turn in my homework back then to Pan Am, which is now UTPA. And I thought to myself, if my uncle could drive a school bus go to school, and help to support his family. That was service. And Tio Henry, on behalf of all of the family, I want to thank you for being the first in the family to not only go to college, but to be one of those 10 and graduate. Congratulations, Tio Henry. Now, after he finished, not only did he say, "Ya acabé yo," he turned around to all of us. And I think all of us cousins can say the same thing. All 64 of us can say that Tio Henry would, every time he'd walk into a party, and where are you going to go to college? And where are you going to go to college? And what are you going to do? And I'll still remember the day that it came my turn to go to college. And my dad, with his high school education, is there saying, "No, Henry, he can go here to Pan Am, aquí como tú." And Uncle Henry said this, "No, yo ya fui aquí. Now it's their turn to go somewhere else." Uncle Henry kept raising the bar, but he didn't do it alone. Along the way, he met the love of his life, my tia Margaret. And Margaret has always been part of the family. And Tia Margaret and Tio Henry ran a very successful business, Maldonado Business Services. And I say successful because they put not only one, but 2 kids through college, and they paid for everything. Give them a big round of applause. And then here comes Omar one day, walking into the office, and he's back from A&M, and he had already had his high school love with him, and he announces to all of us that he's gonna go to law school. And my Tio Henry says, "Margaret, ándale. Si eso es lo que quiere, we're gonna have to work double time. But we're gonna get this boy through law school." And there's my Tia Margaret looking for a trailer for him, how she's gonna pack the clothes, how she's gonna get everything in order for him. And these 2 parents have done so much in giving. It's being the prime example. That Tio Henry and Tia Margaret tonight, yes, is about Omar, but it was because of your hard work and your determination and what you have done that led to tonight. And I don't want you to forget that. When I left to go to college, my grandmother Valeria gave me something that is very sacred. And Christy, if you may. And I know I'm going to get this from the rest of the primos, that why did it go to Omar? But my grandmother Valeria was a very religious woman, always prayed the rosary, always said good things about people. And she loved to tell stories, just like a novela. And Omar, if you'll please come up. When I left to go to college, Grandma Valeria gave me something very sacred. And it was the Holy Mary. And I'll let you unwrap it. And Omar, as the first person in our family to seek an elected position, we give you this, all of us as a family. May she guide you. May she help you in days, because I'm sure that there are many elected officials here that probably say, you're gonna need some guidance. May she help you along this way where you service our community and you help inspire many more people, just like your dad and Abuelita Valeria and your mom inspired us. Congratulations, Primo.
I wish I had a cousin like you. Thank you so much, Gilbert. That was beautiful. Beautiful. Now to introduce Omar, I want to tell you that Christy will probably be the only one in the entire county that after Omar is elected our next judge for 8, will be able to call him Babe. None of us will be able to call a judge Babe like Christy can. Christy Maldonado is his high school sweetheart, his love, his life, and she's going to come up and formally introduce him. Christy?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome you have given us. "20 years ago, when I first met Omar, I never dreamed that I would be standing here on this stage in front of my community, introducing my husband as a candidate for Hidalgo County Court of Law number 8. I would like to share with you a few of my thoughts about why you should place your faith in him. Omar's expertise in his profession, his unwavering integrity, and his desire to serve not only our family and our community. This has shown me that he will be such a wonderful candidate and a wonderful asset to our court system. And without further ado, it is with great pride and honor that I introduce our next judge for Hidalgo County Court of Law number 8, my wonderful husband, Omar Maldonado.
You know, for the last 4 years, I have dreamt about this very moment, about how it would feel to stand up here before my community. And well, what I can say is that the reality of what I see and the reality of what I feel is so much better than any dream that I ever had over the last 4 years. Thank you all so much for making this reality better than I could have ever imagined. Thank you. I would like to first and foremost thank God for giving us the opportunity to come together today as one community. I would like to thank my wife, Christy. Many of you may not know this, but Christy and I were high school sweethearts, and we've dated for 20 years and been married for 12. Thank you, babe. Thank you, babe, for stealing my heart in high school and for guarding it for the last 20 years. You have shown me what true love, joy, and happiness is, especially when you gave me the 2 greatest gifts any man or any husband could ever dream of, my son and my daughter, Andrew and Addison. They are our future. Thank you, Christy, for being supportive these last 4 years. Thank you for giving without ever asking for anything in return. I truly would not be standing here tonight without your love and support. Thank you. To my parents, Mom and Dad, thank you for sacrificing so much so that I could have. Even when that meant sometimes you would have to go without. Thank you for being at every football game, every school event, and for never allowing anything to get in the way of me achieving my dreams. To my grandmother, que nos acompaña hoy sin mi abuelo, Tata, who passed away some 23 years ago. Not a day goes by that I don't think about how much of an influence my grandfather made in my life in the short 15 years that I got to spend with him. Recuerdo caminando las calles de Elsa con mi abuelo cuando yo era joven. I remember with great fondness the countless times that we went fishing for catfish on the canal bank surrounding Monte Alto. Thank you, Nana, for never allowing his memory to fade and for showing me what it is required of me to live up to the legacy of such a wonderful, humble man. To my in-laws, Christy and I appreciate all the support that you have given us, especially for answering all those last-minute babysitting calls so that Christy and I could attend an important event or even just have a night out. To my entire campaign team, made up of family members and friends and community members alike, I appreciate the hard work you have put in, working tirelessly in helping me take our message out to the community. Thank you all so very much for working so hard to put this event together, and also, most importantly, for believing in me. Today, we officially kick off what unofficially began some 4 years ago. I can remember like it was yesterday, having the first of what would turn out to be hundreds of campaign meetings, where a friend suggested that I pay a visit to FAR Mayor Polo Palacios. Walking into that meeting with Mayor Polo Palacios, I knew that he and I shared similar experiences. The mayor and I both teach alcohol awareness courses to members of our community. It was during this meeting that I could recall the mayor telling me, "Son, you don't just wake up one morning, say you want to be judge, and think it's magically just going to happen. It doesn't work that way." Well, Mayor, thank you so much for your words of wisdom. Words of wisdom that have served as the foundation for this campaign. From that moment and from that meeting, I knew that it was incumbent upon me to get involved in my community, get involved in people's campaigns, and most importantly, get involved in people's lives. Over the last 4 years, we've been invited into people's homes and living rooms. From Sullivan City to Mercedes, and almost every city in between, I've had the opportunity to share my vision and dreams as it relates to County Court at Law Number 8 with the people of this county. And the beautiful thing is that during that process, the community has shared their dreams and their visions with me. Throughout this process, I discovered that we all share the same core values in our community. The values of honesty, integrity, and the understanding that nothing can be accomplished without hard work. I discovered that no matter your background, what high school mascot you support, somos una comunidad. We are at the heart one community dedicated to improving our future. I believe that improving our community requires a sincere and authentic collaboration between our educational and our legal system. Over the last 12 years, I've represented many young adults who have, for some reason or another, found themselves before the eyes of the court. On many occasions, I discovered that these individuals, some first-time offenders, had dropped out of school. Now, I believe that anyone who is given an opportunity on Hidalgo County's pretrial diversion program should be required to complete a high school diploma, attain a GED, or successfully complete a vocational training program before a judge dismisses their case. Now, why do I believe in this? Because I can look at my father. And as Gilbert said, my father is the youngest of 8 children. He was the only one to graduate from high school and the only one to graduate from college. But you see, 40 years ago, my father planted a seed of hope that has now bloomed in me. And it is because of this that I can stand here before you tonight. I recognize, however, that many members of our community, state, and nation have lost faith in some of our elected officials. Many have lost faith because of what is happening today in Washington, or the scandal that stunned the Cameron County Courthouse. 4 years ago, I stood before my family and I promised them that I would never do anything to tarnish my family's legacy or my family's name. Tonight, I stand before you, my community, making that same promise and commitment. I make this promise to the citizens of this county because I believe that everyone who comes before the court should be treated with dignity and respect. I make this promise to the citizens of this county because I believe that no matter your background, your circumstance, your economic status, everyone should be treated equally before the eyes of the court. I make this promise to the citizens of this county because when elected, these beliefs will serve as a foundation for what will serve as my guiding principles as your judge. Friends, if you believe as I do in these same core beliefs, I am asking for your vote and I'm asking for your support. However, I recognize that the campaign journey will be long and will be a trying process. And it's a process that cannot be done without you, my community. If you believe as I do that the best days for this county lie ahead and not behind us, I want every single one of you to raise your hands and let your voices be heard this coming March. Thank you all so very much. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias por su apoyo. Thank you all for joining my family and I. God bless you and God bless Hidalgo County. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you so very much.